All right, guys, the mic is hot. All right, the mic is hot. We are live with another one. All right, welcome to the channel. This is OE MMA TV. I'm your host, OE. Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Thank you for supporting independent MMA media, guys. And like I always say, this is your channel, the only channel where the fans come first, not last. All right, let me make sure my mic is on, and it is on, guys. This is post UFC 319. All right, there's a lot to talk about. All right, a lot to talk about. But let's start. Let's start. Where can we start right now? All right, where can we start right now? You know what? I'm gonna start right now with the Kai Asakara. All right, let's start with all the surprising, things that happened with UFC 319, guys. To me, it was an exciting fight card. By far one of the best cards of UFC 2025. To be honest with you, there's a lot of complainers out there. You know what I mean? That honestly shouldn't be watching mixed martial arts in general. But we'll get into that, guys. Okay, we'll get into that because just a lot of casuals, a lot of complainers about UFC 319. But let's start at the Kai Asakara versus Tim Elliott fight right there, man, guys. I was very surprised. Okay, I thought Tim Elliott looked good very early on. In that first round, I thought he was doing a good job of being elusive, using his head movement, getting away from Kai Asakara. You know, as the round did go, Kai Asakara was finding success towards that end of the first round. And then the second round happened, guys. And very early on in the second round, Kai Asakara was doing really, really well on the stand-up. I thought he was finding success early in the second round. I thought Tim Elliott was still doing a good job of staying elusive enough to the point where Kai Asakara still had to, basically hunt Tim Elliott down. And in that second round, Kai Asakara was finding success on the feet to the point where Tim Elliott ended up taking down Kai Asakara. And in that scramble and takedown, Tim Elliott ends up having a mounted guillotine on Kai Asakara and finished him in the second round with the mounted guillotine submission. Congratulations to Tim Elliott. That was a huge win for him. Okay. I didn't expect it. I thought it was going to be a good fight, but I thought Kai Asakara would be prepared to fight in the, UFC and in the octagon since he's been training to fight in the octagon. Excuse me. But congratulations to Tim Elliott. Huge win. Okay. And Kai Asakara finds himself 0-2 in the UFC, guys. Let me read some of these comments here. What's up? How you doing? Blessings to you. How are you doing, Hassan? Chimaev told you caucus fighters own UFC. Armin Marab, Khabib, Islam. Yes, man. Yes, it was a great night. Blue Dude, how you doing, guys? Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, support the community. All right, make sure you guys run up the likes and run up the subscriptions. But as it is right now, guys, I got to give my, hats off to Tim Elliott. Huge win. Him and his team had a, great strategy. I thought Tim Elliott looked very, very much healthy. Definitely want to see him back in the octagon. And hopefully we do. Hopefully we do, especially after a win like that. One king is the GOAT. But yeah, guys. What else? What else we could talk about here? Let me see. Let me see here. Oh yeah, let's talk about Chase Hooper for a little bit, guys. Let's talk about this guy, all right? The Gooner. Okay. Let's talk about Chase Hooper, who lost and got knocked out against a dead body of Alex Hernandez, guys. Okay. I did pick Chase Hooper to win this fight against Alex Hernandez, unfortunately. All right, unfortunately. If you guys watch my UFC fight predictions, you guys know that I did complain about Chase Hooper's past opponents. I mean, Chase Hooper has been fighting dead bodies for the past, I want to say 2 to 3 years. Honestly, guys, dead bodies. So when it comes to Chase Hooper, I did not have a lot of hope and belief and faith in Chase Hooper, to be honest with you. But I thought, against Alex Hernandez, a dead body of Alex Hernandez, man, Chase Hooper will be able to go in there, most likely get a finish, a submission or something. But once again, Chase Hooper proves me wrong. Okay, goes in there, and honestly, I don't know what Chase Hooper was doing. It almost looked as if he was play fighting. He was like, it was a training sparring session or something, because he wasn't committing for shit. And somewhere along the lines, Alex Hernandez said, you know what, I'm going to take this boy out. And he did. He put him away. Chase Hooper got slept in that first round, guys. Okay, in that first round. So congratulations to Alex Hernandez for beating a Chase Hooper who honestly has been the guy has been protected by the UFC, especially if you look at his past opponents, guys. Okay, point blank, period. But yeah, guys, like and subscribe. All right, if you are new to the channel. What else we could talk about here? Let's talk about. I thought MVP had a great performance. Okay, I thought the first round and the second round, I thought MVP had a great performance. Unfortunately, Jared Cannonier, he couldn't, he couldn't get used to that type of style of fighting that MVP brings. And unfortunately, Jared Cannonier got dropped multiple times. He did find success in the third round, but it was a little bit too late, man. He was already, 2 rounds down to MVP, and MVP ends up getting the win. So congratulations to MVP. Big win for MVP. All right. One of the knockouts of the nights, guys. All right, one of the knockouts of the nights was 2 of the spinning back elbows, guys. All right, 2 of the spinning back elbows. We got the first spinning back elbow of the night. We got Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. I thought Jeff Neal was actually doing, early on, he was doing good. When it comes to the stand-up game, I knew this was going to be a stand-up affair. And Jeff Neal, he looked like he was ready to oblige. But Carlos Prates, he looked very much comfortable in there. He was staying elusive. He was using his distance very well, continuously through a jab and a beautiful step-in knee that continuously landed on Jeff Neal. And towards the end of the fight, Carlos Prates steps in with an elbow. He steps in with the elbow, and it actually lands on Jeff Neal. And then right when the round was ending, it must have been like maybe 3 to 4 seconds till the round ends. Carlos Prates throws a spinning back elbow that lands on Jeff Neal's head and just totally puts him down. Jeff Neal just, as soon as the elbow landed, Jeff Neal went down, and that was the end of the fight, man. That was it, man. Free Diddy says Dreekus got robbed. Yeah, he definitely got robbed. He got robbed and ragdolled. That's for sure, guys. Okay. Where you get that hat from? I got this hat from I don't know, to be honest with you. I think I got it from where did I get this hat? I think from a store. I don't know, from some store. We're gonna see a lot of butt sniffing now for here on out. Well, Free Diddy, unfortunately, work on your wrestling. Work on your wrestling. Stop it. All right, because this is mixed martial arts. So if you could stop the wrestling, go ahead and train some wrestling. Okay, train some wrestling defense. All right, do me the favor. All right, because all that was a stalemate, and the only person we have to blame for that is DDP. To be honest with you, okay. It's like DDP camp didn't train any counter wrestling or get up drills, especially absolutely pathetic camp and coaches in between rounds. Travis, I agree with you. The coaches gave no guidance to DDP, but we're gonna get into that, guys. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk more specifically about DDP and his corner, all right, and the strategy that he had for Chimaev and all the complainers out there that are complaining about UFC 319 being such a lackluster event when in reality it was a great card. All right, but right now we just got done talking about Carlos Prates landing that spinning back elbow on Jeff Neal. Now the next fight we got to talk about, guys, the guy who stole the show. All right, guys, the mixed martial arts fighter that stole the show. Lauron Murphy versus Aaron Pico. This has to be the knockout of the night, the highlight reel of the night, to be honest with you. All right, because I picked Lauron Murphy to win this fight, guys. Okay, I honestly did. I knew Lauron Murphy was just too much of a high competitor, a high-level competitor compared to Aaron Pico. I said it early on, if you guys saw my UFC fight predictions. And while I was, calling it live, I said I don't believe in Aaron Pico. If you go back and look at Aaron Pico's 4 last opponents, you cannot name them. Okay, point blank, period. Those are facts. And when you look at Lauron Murphy, undefeated record, he's already fought UFC caliber fighters. I just had a feeling that Lauron Murphy was going to be a little bit too much for Aaron Pico. Okay, and a little bit too much Lauron Murphy was. Lauron Murphy got a highlight reel knockout against Aaron Pico with a spinning back elbow that was vicious, guys. Vicious. Put him to sleep as soon as it landed. I mean, it took a little bit for Aaron Pico to actually get back up to his feet after getting knocked out. Congratulations to Lauron Murphy. It was a huge win. I mean, he puts himself against, with a highlight reel knockout like that, guys, Lauron Murphy puts himself against, the champion in Vogue. So, congratulations to Lauron Murphy. What a knockout, guys. All right, guys, a couple more things that we do have to talk about before we get into detail about more things about the main event. Let me read some of these comments here since they're coming in hot. Squid Games, let me see. Bird in the back. MMA has become boring. 5 rounds of butt sniffing is crazy though. Squid Game, she is going to slap you or scratch you. You would know it, but butt sniffing is like, huh? Muslims have lefties like the Chimaev fight. DDP drinkers make hole in the back of side. Lauron ain't losing anytime soon. Hi, how you doing? Who you got, Canelo or Crawford? I got Canelo. What about what you call it? Pig press. Murphy caught him with a good elbow when he kept going low early. Dude has a chin, but Murphy is super clean, almost too clean. Pretty much a garbage disposal for. But yeah, guys, let me tell you something. All right. We already talked about Lauron Murphy, the highlight reel knockout that he got on Aaron Pico. We already talked about the surprise submission that came from Tim Elliott, all right, and beating Asakara. All right, we already talked about, the other spinning back elbow that was phenomenal. Carlos Prates landing it on Jeff Neal. And of course, we talked about MVP beating Jared Cannonier 2 rounds to 0. Guys, let's talk specifically about DDP and Chimaev, guys. All right. Let's talk about DDP and Chimaev right now. Okay. First of all, there's a lot of complainers out there, a lot of casuals out there that are talking about that this fight wasn't exciting. All right, that this fight was boring. All right. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there as well that are saying that Chimaev, like, how are you just gonna wrestle for 5 rounds? You're not making this exciting. How boring is this fight? It might be the most boring fight, in history. A lot of complainers, man. And in my opinion, guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Thank you for supporting independent MMA media, guys. And like I always say, this is your channel. I'm just a pilot, okay? The only channel where the fans come first, not last. Run up those likes, run up those subscriptions, run up the shares, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. But look, guys, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. If you didn't like that fight with DDP and Chimaev, then you just don't like mixed martial arts, in my opinion. That is my honest opinion. If you did not like that fight, then you don't like mixed martial arts. That's like, honestly, that's like saying, oh my gosh, you're watching a football game, right? You're watching a football game, and then all of a sudden they start running the ball instead of passing the ball. They continuously start running the ball. From first down to third down, they're just running the ball nonstop, and they're finding success with running the ball. They're not throwing the ball. They're not doing any flags, right? They're not doing anything like that. Any big formation. It's just a power I formation, and they're running it down your throats, and they're finding success, okay, in this football game. That's literally like saying, oh my God, this game was boring. This game was horrible. All they did was run the ball. Well, guess what, guys? That's a part of football. Just like how wrestling is a part of mixed martial arts, okay? And unfortunately, DDP had no answer. Literally no answer for the wrestling. That is not Chimaev's fault. Unfortunately, if DDP was able to stop the takedown, I bet you Chimaev would have laid off of, trying to take him down, especially if DDP was able to fight him off and shrug him off. I'm pretty sure the fight would have went like Robert Burns or Kamaru Usman type of fight, where you saw early on Chimaev took them down, found success, but then later in the rounds, Burns and Kamaru Usman ends up stopping the takedown, and now it ends up becoming a striking affair. But unfortunately, DDP couldn't even stop the takedown. His wrestling defense was awful, horrible. And not only that, but his coaches gave him virtually no advice when he came back in between rounds. Virtually no advice. Coaches were horrible. I don't know what the game plan was, to be honest, for DDP. In my opinion, the game plan was just to stall and to survive. Let me read some of these comments here. That analogy makes no sense. Dean, welcome to the chat. Welcome to your channel. Long-time supporter. Trying 90 minutes to get the ball, and when they actually get the ball, they shoot. My point exactly. Why didn't DDP try to shoot first? They had no game plan whatsoever. Travis, my opinion agrees with your opinion, to be honest with you. Yes, I agree. They do smell like wee-wee. What are you talking about? My gosh. No, DDP defended well on the ground for 5 rounds. No game plan. Horrible coaches. 99% of the roster are overrated bums. How do you let your fighter get crucifixed multiple times? Chimaev was on him like flies on shit. Guys, he definitely was. Okay, he definitely was. And unfortunately, DDP had no answer. His coaches had no answer. They had no advice in between rounds. DDP lost that round from the very first round, to be honest with you. Okay? I said this prior. I knew DDP was going to lose this fight. Derek Brunson was able to take him down. Derek Brunson, guys. So I knew right away Chimaev was going to be able to take him down. I just didn't think it was going to be this bad. Okay? This bad to the point where, guys, I got to bring this up, guys. I got to bring this up because never, ever have I seen this in my life, okay? Never, ever have I seen a fighter dominate another fighter just like this. Guys, if you go look at, how many strikes were landed, with DDP and Chimaev, I'm talking a huge, huge difference, guys. Chimaev landed like about 490-something punches, okay, against Chimaev's 20-something. Unbelievable, okay, unbelievable. It got to the point that DDP was losing so bad that somebody had to step in and try to cheat for DDP, okay? And you know who that person was, guys? All right, you know who that person was that wanted to cheat for DDP? Mark Goddard, the referee, guys. Blatantly tried to cheat for DDP. I have to say this. I have to bring this up because as I'm watching this live, I could not believe what I was watching. Never in my right mind would I see a guy dominate another fighter so bad to the point where here is Chimaev in a dominant position. He has DDP virtually in the same position that DDP likes, which is being on his knees. And Chimaev on his back, rabbit punching him to death, right? Such a dominant position. But yet here we go with Mark Goddard stepping in and standing him up in the 4th round and in the 5th round. Guys, that's the end of the 5th round where, you saw a scramble and then you saw DDP, go for a submission and then DDP loses the submission. That whole sequence would have never happened if Mark Goddard would have never stand him up, okay? So all we have to DDP definitely has to thank Mark Goddard, for trying to cheat in that 4th and 5th. To be honest with you, the guy needs to be investigated. To be honest with you, and the guy needs to be. I don't want to see the guy referee anymore. I'm just being honest. He's not that much of a good referee. I'm just being honest. And after watching last night's event, the guy is totally biased. I see you, Mark Goddard. I see you. Okay, I see you for who you are. Especially after last night, how ridiculous that was. standing him up twice when he had a dominant position and was working for a more dominant position? How dare you? Guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Run up those likes, run up those subscriptions. I really appreciate you. Let me read some of these comments. A lot of money wasted that night. DDP have zero wrestling. Combat IQ, I agree with you. Welcome back to your channel. You crazy, bro. Chimaev made no moves. That's why he stood them up. Do you know anything of UFC? I've been watching UFC and mixed martial arts since 2003. Actually competed when I was 19 in Muay Thai. All right, whatever AEK. Are you familiar with what you're watching? Because from what I was watching, he had a dominant position. Never have I watched a person on somebody's back working for an underhook. I mean, working for an underhook and a better position, and then all of a sudden the referee steps in and stands him up. Never in my right mind. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. The coaches were whack. Casual takes. Lil bro needs to get punched. DDP never improved from Izzy fight. He's straight trash. Let me read some of these. Let me continue. Free Diddy. I don't want to read that one. How you doing? How you doing? You know nothing. Chimaev was making no moves. That's why they stood them up. What the fuck? What are you talking about? What do you mean he was making no moves? What are you talking about? He was making no moves. He had a dominant position on the ground. He had his back and was working for an underhook. What are you talking about? He was making no moves. The fuck are you talking about? I'm sure he was told signal to that. I love when people are butthurt when DDP loses. I just love it. I agree. DDP would have won if it were on the feet. If you say so. I don't agree. I want to see the fight, not hugging match. I'm sorry. Well, if you want to see fighting, go watch kickboxing or something. Go watch Muay Thai or something along those lines. Or nitpick which fights you watch, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because this is mixed martial arts, guys. Wrestling is a part of it. Unfortunately, DDP had no answer for the wrestling. His wrestling was so awful to the point where Mark Goddard had to step in and cheat for him. Okay? I don't care what nobody says. Chimaev had a dominant position on the ground. This should have been no reason why they needed to stand that up. No reason. Okay? He could not. How could we not talk about family when family is all that we got? Dean, welcome to the channel. Francis Ngannou can only stop Chimaev wrestling. There you go. Look, I understand what you're saying, man. I understand. Look, I could say this. We agree to disagree. We agree to disagree. If you think that the ref was right with letting him stand him up, everybody is entitled to their own opinions, but opinions are like assholes, and most of the time they stink. Okay? So, hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Hey, I agree to disagree. I just know what I'm watching, and I know for a fact I have never watched a fight where a guy is on someone's back in a dominant position, and then the referee steps in to stand them up. I've never seen that in my life. I've been watching this for a long time. Never in my life. It's MMA, not butt sniffing. Well, mixed martial arts. It's mixed martial arts, guys. Okay, if you don't like mixed martial arts, then go watch another combat sports. All right, wrestling is a part of it. DDP's coaches should have strategized against it. Kamaru Usman and Burns, they found success later on the rounds because their ability to stop the takedown. That's the reason why you saw an exciting fight between those fighters and Chimaev. Unfortunately, DDP couldn't make it an exciting fight because he had no answer, guys. The stand-up was okay, bro. 2 stand-ups in 25 minutes was not that bad. Look, I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying that the stand-up wasn't that bad. But what I'm talking about is I'm just pointing the facts here. I have never watched a fight where a fighter had a dominant position on the ground, working for a more dominant position and underhooks, and the referee stepped in. I have never watched it. Never. I've never seen it. So what I'm saying is it just looked kind of odd. It looked kind of weird in my eyes. Why is he stepping in, especially after doing it for 3 rounds? Why are you stepping in now in the 4th and 5th? I'm not understanding. Obviously, it's because he wanted the outcome to be different. That's the reason why. Sorry, I'm just stating the facts. Let me see. Please Google the rules. Let's get the facts straight on letting them stand up. The position, look, the position was never different from the first round to the second round to the third round. That's my point. My point is he had in the fourth round and the fifth round when Mark Goddard stand him up. Those were the same positions that he had in the first round and in the second round and in the third round. And Mark Goddard didn't stand him up in those positions in those rounds. So I'm just stating the facts. I'm stating that Mark Goddard stood him up and wanted to stand him up for his own reasons. It wasn't because of a stalemate on the ground. It was because Mark Goddard wanted to cheat and he wanted a different outcome. Those positions were already seen in the first and second and third. So why are you standing them up in the fourth and fifth? Obviously, it's because you wanted to, misconstrued the outcome. You wanted to dilute the outcome. That's just my point. Anyways, guys, I'm moving on from that because obviously we're gonna agree to disagree. All right, my record for last night. Okay, let me give you guys my record for last night because last night was a great, beautiful day for me. I went 9-3 with my UFC fight predictions last night, guys. I went 9-3 with my UFC fight predictions, so that puts me for my UFC fight predictions for 2025. I am 184 wins and 124 losses. That is 184 wins and 124 losses. That is above, that is above 500. That's about 60% when calling it right. So I'm not mad at that. It was a good night for my UFC fight predictions. Definitely got to win. 9-3, not bad. I'll take it. I also want to talk about MVP right now because I watched the post-fight interview with MVP, and MVP did bring up some exciting things, guys. All right, MVP did bring up some exciting things. And MVP said that he wants to fight Carlos Prates. That'll be a really, really entertaining fight. I'm not mad at that. I would love to see that. Put on that fight. MVP versus Carlos Prates. I'm down. Let me know in the chat if you guys want to see that fight. I would love to see that fight. MVP versus Carlos Prates. That thing sounds fun as hell. They both strikers. You know for a fact this is not gonna hit the mat at all. All right, for all those fighters out there that are complaining about the Chimaev fight, go watch the MVP and Carlos Prates fight. Okay, that fight would be much more entertaining for you guys. You guys will love that fight. Nobody is gonna go for a takedown or a single leg or a high crotch. It would not hit the ground, guaranteed. MVP Carlos Prates, book that shit. All right. Let me read some of these comments here. Hey, bro, when are you going back to Pakistan? If you don't like grappling, then don't watch UFC. My point exactly. That was a hollow victory for Chimaev. He did not make sleep. You guys are crying because Chimaev dominated. Exactly. If you don't like grappling, don't watch UFC. I agree with you guys. I agree with you. Party, how you doing? Chimaev is a rug rider. Chimaev is king. I agree with you. Chimaev is a good mixed martial artist. Why would the ref have any motive? I have no idea. I have no idea why the referee will have any motive, to be honest with you. Just like how back in the day, the referee, I forget his name, Brett Okamoto. Was it Brett Okamoto? If I'm not Brett Okamoto. He's a freaking analyst, commentator. What's his name? Well, there was a referee that basically, when you go into this fight, when you go into a fight, he'll let you die, in the octagon. And I don't know what the motive behind that was, but I can guarantee you this: the UFC definitely fired him. The referee wasn't a good referee. He would literally let people die in the octagon to the point where Dana White had to complain and say, "I'm firing him. I'm firing him. I'm firing him." So I don't know what would the motive be behind that. Maybe he wants to see, people die in the octagon, or he wants to be the first referee to ref a dying opponent. I have no idea. You know what I mean? But I don't know what the motive behind that one was. He's going to get his ass kicked. Hi, brother. I am from Turkey, and you. Blessings from me to you. Blessings from me to you. Welcome to your channel. Welcome to your chat. All the way from Turkey. Blessings to you, man. I'm from the US of A. I'm over here at the US. Let me see. Chimaev ragdoll DDP. He definitely did. Dricus has to train with the best for a while before wanting a rematch. I agree. I agree. I respect opinion, but the Che saying was a great fight is delusional. What's your opinion on Islam versus JDM? I think Islam takes that fight. I think Islam takes that fight. I think JDM is gonna get ragdolled similarly like DDP did. All right, similarly like DDP did. I wish the UFC would get rid of these butt hugging wrestlers. Unfortunately, this is wrestling. This is mixed martial arts, and it's a part of mixed martial arts. Wrestling is a part of mixed martial arts. Unfortunately, so you guys, you know what I mean. You guys are gonna have to deal with it. Guys, another thing I did want to bring up. I got a good laugh yesterday, man. I got a good laugh yesterday because yesterday after watching UFC 319, I went on my Twitter and I wanted to see what everybody was tweeting. I saw Henry Cejudo, tweet out some funny stuff about DDP winning. But the funniest tweet of all time last night will have to come from Bo Nickal, guys. I have to bring this up. I have to bring this up because the guy is delusional. If you want to talk about being delusional, this is the guy right here who's delusional, is Bo Nickal, guys. Point blank, period. Bo Nickal actually had the nerve yesterday to tweet after UFC 319 and after DDP and Chimaev fought each other. Bo Nickal actually had the nerve and audacity to get on the tweet and say, I have to lock in. Guys, first of all, Bo Nickal lost against Renner de Ritter. If Bo Nickal actually thinks he has an inkling of competing in that middleweight division, Bo Nickal is over. All right, Bo Nickal, look, I don't care what type of wrestling you have. All right, I don't care about any credentials. Don't get yourself embarrassed, Bo Nickal. Don't do it. Please. Don't do it because your tweet last night, literally, I laughed out loud, literally. Okay? Funniest tweet of all time, Bo Nickal. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Well, you know what? Guys, that's about it. That's really pretty much all I wanted to talk about on this live. Like I said, I'm 184 wins and 124 losses for my UFC fight predictions for 2025. I'm 184 wins and 124 losses. So let's continue getting these dubs. Let me read some of these comments before I get out of here real fast. Hold on a second. Are you forgetting Dricus took out 3 champs in a row? I'm not forgetting that. I'm not forgetting that at all. But it's obvious he had a hole. He definitely had a hole in his whole strategy and his whole game plan and in his whole game. He had a hole, unfortunately. I'm not overseeing the fact that he beat 3 champions, but those 3 champions didn't have anything, like Chimaev's wrestling. And we definitely saw that yesterday. Let me read. Yeah, Chimaev fought very gay yesterday, like he's scared to strike, complete coward. My gosh, man. I swear, it's crazy to me of how many people out here are complaining, man. It's crazy. It really is. To me, it's nuts. It's nuts because it's like the amount of casuals that are watching mixed martial arts these days is fucking unbelievable. And you know what? It's gonna get worse now with this Paramount deal because there's gonna be a lot more people who are new to the sport and they're not gonna be knowing what they're watching. To be honest with you, they're not gonna know. They're not gonna know, man. I would like to see what people think about GSP, especially in this day and age. You know what I mean? I want to see because GSP uses wrestling like no other. So it's amazing to me. People like GSP, people like Demetrius Johnson, people like Khabib Nurmagomedov, all these great fighters, but yet people don't even know what they're watching. People call it boring. You know what I mean? It's crazy that you can be called boring and outstrike somebody by 500 strikes. Unbelievable. You know what I mean? Chimaev literally landed 400 more strikes. You know what I mean? Maybe even more than that. Maybe 490 more strikes than what DDP was even able to do. Okay, but yeah, we're gonna call that boring. You know what I mean? Look, to each their own, man. To each their own, but there's a lot of people out here that shouldn't be watching mixed martial arts. They should be watching another combat sports in general. I'm just being honest with you because a lot of people saying they were butt sniffing. Guys, there was multiple Brazilian jiu-jitsu moves in there. It wasn't only wrestling. You saw some wrestling in there, but you definitely saw a crucifix. That's Brazilian jiu-jitsu. There was some Brazilian jiu-jitsu in there as well. I mean, it was mixed martial arts at its finest. Okay, and unfortunately, one of the aspects, which is wrestling, DDP had no answer for. All right. Real MMA fans know. Wait, well, if you say so, man. I can't call anybody a real MMA fan if they didn't like what they saw last night. In my opinion, I can't call you a real DDP, a real mixed martial arts fan if you're complaining. If you're complaining about last night's card or main event, you're not a true MMA fan. You're fucking casual. I'll point you out right now. Travis says DDP looked like he was gonna cry after the third. Literally watch it. He starts tearing up. He legit had no game plan, and his coaches had only had kisses for him, no advice. He never tried to counter wrestling. Look, Travis, I saw that. I saw that. There was a point there where, he wipes his face in the third round. The coach wipes his face, and he just tell him how he feels. How do you feel? He gave him no advice. Gave him a kiss in the cheek afterwards. I mean, virtually no advice. Bad coaching. Bad game plan. Terrible, terrible strategy. Dominant performance. Don't end in decision. LOL. The main event was MMA at its finest. Joker. It was. It was. In my opinion, it was. It was like watching a Demetrius Johnson fight or a GSP fight, where to the point where you know what I mean. You actually start rooting for the other opponent because you're like, man, he's getting dominated so bad. DDP got dominated so bad that I started rooting for him. I'm literally over here like, come on, DDP, you can stop these takedowns, and he just couldn't. He just couldn't. Even Dana said it was shit fight, but what does he know? Exactly. What does Dana White know? My point exactly. What does Dana White know? Dana White, the only thing he wants to see is two people die. That's what Dana White wants to watch. Two people die. Okay. I could care less about how Dana White feels in his opinion. Okay. A guy has been checked out since 2015, since Joe Silva left. I could give a shit about Dana White. How can you watch a cuddle match for 25 minutes and truly think that you're watching MMA? It's mixed martial arts, guys. That's a part of it. Unfortunately, that's a part of it. If DDP had an answer, the fight would have looked like Kamaru Usman fight. It would have been definitely an exciting fight. But apparently, DDP didn't have a game plan. He didn't train for the wrestling. Travis said, I felt bad watching. Travis, I agree with you. I'm telling you, I was watching the fight, and I picked Chimaev to win the fight. But then, as the fight, was going, and Chimaev was dominating DDP, you could go watch it on my live. I literally started rooting for DDP. I'm like, DDP, you can stop this. You can do this. Come on. And he just got dominated, guys. Got dominated. Let me see. How is it MMA if it only one part of it casual? Well, Jake, what are you talking about? It's mixed martial arts. He didn't only use wrestling. Didn't you see a crucifix in there? That's Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you jackass. He used wrestling, but he also used Brazilian jiu-jitsu. What the fuck are you talking about? DDP did not get finished. He should have. Chimaev beat the hell out of DDP. He definitely did. He beat the hell out of him, guys. Okay? But yet we still have complainers in the chat. We still have complainers in this community. Well, he used the ground game arts. Khabib Nurmagomedov, fans of full brothers. At Bill, got ragdolled. Exactly, Hassan. Exactly. DDP got ragdolled, man. He got beat. He will beat him next time. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta laugh at that one. There's no way, guys. There's no way DDP comes back from this. You know what I mean? He's not coming back to fight Chimaev and to beat Chimaev. His wrestling is terrible, bro. His wrestling is awful. I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. I said it while I was watching the fight. I said it. DDP has virtually no wrestling defense. All he has is strength and power. He was literally trying to use his brute strength to get out of these positions. You cannot do that. You can't use brute strength. You have to use your technique and your knowledge to be able to get yourself out of these positions. And obviously, he had no technique. No way Bill just said that. He did. He literally just said that, guys. He literally just said that. He gave us all a good laugh. Okay. I love how Chimaev is who people wanted to get to win, even though his inactivity and horrible fight style is going to ruin the division. Jake, I don't know if you noticed, but uh, um, Dana White got on the press conference and said that Chimaev might be booked for the Abu Dhabi card, which is in October. Okay, so let's do the math. August, September, October. So about a month and a half to 2 months away, Chimaev might fight again. So I don't think that's inactivity. Actually, I think that might be the quickest turnaround for a champion. So what the fuck are you talking about? About inactivity? Chimaev, how is that inactivity when Dana White said it himself that he might book Chimaev for the October card in Abu Dhabi? I repeat, which would make Chimaev one of the quickest turnarounds as a champion to defend his belt in October. Once again, I repeat, fastest turnaround for a champion to defend his belt. Like I don't know what people are fucking talking about. I swear they're literally spewing caca out here. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. The co-main event was the best. It was a good one. It was a good one. I did pick Lauron Murphy to win that fight, and he ends up winning by catastrophic, KO. Thank you. Yeah, and we should always believe what Chimaev and Dana say. Well, if you say so, we'll see. We'll see when that card gets put together. People are talking about, I swear, people hear something and then they run with that narrative. People hear something and they start running with that narrative. Unbelievable. Somebody says, he ain't got shit on my goat Barab. Oh my gosh, man. Guys, there's a lot of people who are butthurt out here, bro. There's a lot of people who are butthurt out here. A lot of people butthurt out here, bro. It's unbelievable. I'm dead serious. It's caca, bro. I'm just being real. It's caca. There's people out here spewing caca, bro, and it's unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. YouTube, hey, how you doing? Blessings to you, man. Man, Chimaev performance was absolutely nothing short of dominance. Thank you, Christian. At least now all the casuals are, being pointed out, at least, you know what I mean? Because, I'm being honest. It was a pure dominating performance by Chimaev. I haven't seen a more dominating performance since ever, to be honest. Merab, who got slept already. I pay to watch guys like DDP and Pereira. Khamzat should just stay in the boring third world country humping bears. Man, that's crazy. You look and sound like Seth Rollins. I don't even know who Seth Rollins is, but bless to him. The last fight sucked. It was terrible. Bill, you already stated your things. You already said what you have. You already said. Okay, you thought the main event was horrible. Okay, you thought that it was a sniffing a fest, whatever you want to call it. I already heard your caca. Okay, guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, run up the likes, run up the subscriptions, run up the shares. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys for supporting independent MMA media. Okay, I really do. Let me see. DDP and Poirier, who lost their fights by domination. Bill, get out of here. I agree. Bill, I don't know what's wrong with Bill right now. I really don't. Let me see. I thought DDP would do something, but I don't understand how people get mad after Chimaev dominates him. The same people that wanted to see him fight DDP now complaining. My point exactly. Man. I remember back in the day, people used to complain about GSP and Demetrius Johnson. In my opinion, those are two of the greatest fighters of all time, and GSP and Demetrius Johnson. They were two mixed martial arts fighters that used their wrestling to their advantage. Okay? And in my opinion, Chimaev did the same thing. Pure domination. Unfortunately, DDP had no answer for it. If he had any answer for it, the fight would have been more entertaining. It would have looked like a Kamaru Usman fight. But unfortunately, DDP's wrestling is horrible. Coaches had no answer. Bill says, I don't like you. That's okay if you don't like me, Bill. That is okay. Guys, I have a question. What is the question? Give me the question. That 2 pounds lighter. Hello, sir. Hello. Where are you from? I'm from the U.S. You think Chimaev can beat and is invincible? You think Chimaev can be beat and is invincible? I didn't say that. Did I say that? Did I say that Chimaev is invincible, that nobody could beat him? No, what I'm saying is that he beat the shit out of DDP, ragdolled him for 5 rounds to the point where he had to have help from the referee. That's all I'm stating. I'm stating the facts here. Okay? Don't try to put words in my mouth because I never said that. Bro is looking chill as fuck. If you are fighting an opponent who doesn't know how to grapple and your strongest skill is grappling, are you gonna strike with him or grapple with him? I'm gonna grapple with him. I'm gonna grapple with him nonstop until he can stop my grappling. I will grapple with the son of a bitch all fucking day, point blank. Period. Long story short, you're a coward. Mo, I have to disagree with you, man. Mo, you out here spewing caca too, man. All right, stop with your caca fest. Chimaev is the best in the UFC now. Let me see. Didn't Dana White say that he hated main event fights for a belt to go just like that? That he wanted to see competitors try to take off the champion's head? Yeah, I guess so. I guess you can agree with. I guess he did say such a thing, but unfortunately, it is what it is. That's the fight we had because DDP couldn't stop it. DDP's wrestling sucked. Bro, Khabib needs your location. I'm not saying anything about the fight. I'm just saying what with Dana White had to said before. Hey, I agree with you. Dana White has said that, but unfortunately, DDP had no answer. Go join a wrestling team. That's not mixed martial arts, cowards. Hold on a second, guys. I gotta get that guy out of here just because he's spewing caca and it's nothing good, guys. It's literally nothing good. The guy has nothing, to say that actually is meaningful. So I got his ass out of here. DDP dominated in striking. Bill, the only way he got those striking opportunities was by cheating. Okay, the referee had to step in to give him those opportunities. Okay, so he was up against Chimaev was up against two opponents in the octagon that night. Look what Bill said. I saw. Yeah, DDP wrestling was so bad. Awful, guys. Awful. Islam doesn't like Chimaev, and Islam would beat his ass, if you say so. Bill, stop it already. Khamzat had 529 strikes in, and DDP had 45. What a domination that is. Man, Dricus du Plessis got absolutely cooked like expensive South African lobster. Damn, Christian. Going in. That's not true. Islam and Chimaev have mutual respect. He did not cheat. It was in the rules. Bill, what rules are you talking about? I've never watched a mixed martial arts fight where a fighter had a dominant position and was working to get his opponent's back, and then all of a sudden the referee steps in. I've never seen that in my life. Okay, never seen that in my life. In my opinion, that was a cheat situation that Mark Goddard wanted, and he wanted to step in to write his own narrative. Guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, run up those likes, run up the subscriptions, run up the share. All right, let's push this community. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. All right, even the haters, even the casuals, I appreciate you. I don't remember grabbing the cage with your toes being a rule. Exactly. Decker, thank you. I haven't even brought that up. Decker, I haven't even brought that up. I didn't want to bring that up because I honestly, it's besides the point at this point, Decker. But there was multiple times that DDP cheated. Not only did the referee help him, but the referee didn't even call the points where he cheated. There was multiple times that DDP actually grabbed the fence, okay, to stop Chimaev from stopping Chimaev taking him down. And not only that, there was also moments where DDP would find himself on the ground and he will have his toes hooked on the fence, and that's illegal. And yet the referee didn't mention it at all. The referee didn't even stop it. I could count literally about 3 to 4 times where DDP cheated and where the referee didn't do anything about it. Okay? Pure facts. Go watch the fight again. I didn't want to bring that up because that was besides the point. I mean, the guy cheated and still got dominated. And then he had help from the referee and still got dominated. And yet we still have complainers out here. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. I think he means it in the rules. Lay on someone for 25. You sound like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I don't watch football, so it shows what type of character you are. It shows what type of sport you should be watching. Bill, you just capping. What do you want? What you on about? My point exactly. Everybody in the chat, should I get Bill out of here? Let me know on the chat if you guys want me to get Bill out of here because he's been spewing caca the whole time. LOL, that's the way. That was the only way to stop it. Well, almost. Exactly. LL Pool. Referee told him to get his feet off the fence like once or twice. Okay, if he told him once and then he does it again, that should be a point taken away. And then if he cheats again, that should be another point taken away. And then he cheats again. He cheated like about 4 times. All right, so let's say all 3 times the referee said, get your foot off the fence. Oh, don't grab the fence. Oh, get your foot off the fence. And by the 4th time, it's like, damn, you want to take a point? But he didn't. He didn't. Come on now. Get Bill out of here. All right, Bill. You've been a good one, man. But you out of here, bro. One love, Bill. You have a good one. Peace. Billy the Silly. Thank you, Dean. Thank you. He ran out of points. Keep Bill. Keep Bill. He is making me laugh. I took him out, guys. I took him out. I took out Bill. He's out of here. All right, that's it. The ref made Chimaev get up when he was in a dominant position too. My point exactly. I have mentioned that, man. I did mention that. He couldn't last around at against Brendan Schaub. Are we really talking about Brendan Schaub? Are we? Come on, guys. Oh my gosh. Bill, go pay your bills. There you go. What do you think of Ankalaev versus Poirier? That's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be a good fight. Unfortunately, Ankalaev is. I mean, Ankalaev definitely dominated that first fight against Alex Poirier, but unfortunately, Alex Poirier. Look. I hope Alex trains, and I hope the second fight and the rematch is more exciting. But let's be real, guys. Ankalaev outstruck Alex, and I was very, very surprised. I was surprised about that. OE MMA TV got a TKO on Bill on round 1 and at the last second. Thank you, Hoop Clips. I really appreciate that. Thank you. DDP versus the Ritter, Fluffy versus loser of Balaho Imarov, and Chimaev versus the winner of Balaho Imarov. Yeah, I could agree with that. That's a good breakdown. That's a good breakdown, Deckard. I like that. Imagine if DDP knocked out Chimaev after the ref told them to stand up. That would have been crazy, bro. That would have been crazy. That would have been crazy. We would have been standing here today talking about how DDP would have never found that opportunity if Mark Goddard would have never cheated for him. That's what we would have been talking about. So who won the fight? Well, Lockheed Martin, welcome back to the chat. Welcome back to your channel. DDP lost. DDP lost by strangulation. Okay, by pure domination of Chimaev. DDP versus Billy the Silly. That would be good. Mark gave DDP a few chances. LL Pool, he gave him more than a few chances. If I had to be honest with you, I'm going to go back and watch the fight, and I'm going to see how many opportunities this referee gave DDP, to be honest with you, because I saw quite a few. Okay, I saw 5 times where DDP grabbed the fence, and those 2 last times that the referee stood him up. Atrocious. DDP won weight. The rankings come out. I'm not sure. DDP versus AK-47. At least 6. Chimaev, at least, yeah. LL Pool, yeah, like about at least 6. At least 6 fouls altogether. Chimaev is a beast when it comes to grappling and wrestling. Lockheed Martin, he definitely is. He showed it last night. He definitely showed it last night, guys. Pure domination. Congratulations to Chimaev. And last night was a good card, guys. Last night was a good card. Overall, I did rate this a 10 prior to me watching it. Last night on the live, I ended up saying it was a 9.5. But after, careful consideration and after talking to a few of my buddies, I have to say, this card, in my opinion, I'll give it a solid 8. All right, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. That's my overall score for this card. 8 out of 10. I mean, we got 2 highlight reel knockouts in Lauron Murphy and Carlos Prates, and then we got pure domination in the main event with Chimaev just pure dominating DDP. So it was a good night of fights. It was a good card. Let me see. What do you think of Islam versus JDM? I think that fight goes a lot like how we saw DDP versus Chimaev. Yeah, maybe JDM will be able to, shrug off some of Islam's takedown, but eventually I think Islam will take him down and submit him, to be honest with you. Great card. It definitely was. Good rating. Thank you. You look like an Indian rapper, Emiway. Thank you so much, man. I don't know who the hell that is, but hopefully he's a good rapper. DDP plays like an old school boxer. So, yeah, wrestling was her kryptonite. Yeah, it definitely was. Islam is going to win. I believe Islam will win that fight, guys. I believe so. Islam is going to win for sure. I think that as well. Lockheed, he says his. I already knew what you meant. Don't worry about it. I got you. But guys, it's been a great live, man. Last night was good. It was my longest live, to this date. It was about a 6-hour live. ESPN did some funny business with me last night. I actually had to get off my live and then re-enter my live because ESPN didn't give me the access to purchase the pay-per-view for some odd reason. I had to literally get on the telly, okay, and call ESPN headquarters, 1-800 number, and get everything situated, literally, okay. Finally got the pay-per-view, got back on the live, and yeah, it was a great night, man. It was a great night. I want to thank everybody who supports this channel. I want to thank everybody who subscribed, who likes. I really appreciate you guys. I can't do this without you, honestly. You guys are just continuously, pushing and growing this community. I want you to know that I appreciate it. All right, from the bottom of my corazón, I appreciate all you guys. All right, thank you for supporting the channel. All right, this is OE MMA TV. I'm your host, OE. Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Thank you for supporting independent MMA media, guys. And like I always say, this is your channel, the only channel where the fans come first, not last. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You guys have a good one. Like, share, run up those subscriptions, run up those likes, run up those shares. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. I'll get back on the live most likely tomorrow, and we'll talk more about UFC and what is planned ahead of us. Y'all have a good one. Bless. Until next time, y'all.